Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica and today we're talking about my Microlocs journey. Okay, before I get into the video, let me give you some facts. I've had these Microlocs for almost 6 months. In about a week it will be 6 months. Before that, I had Microlocs, but they were a little bit bigger, so I felt like I did not have as much versatility or control over where I wanted the hair to fall. So I decided to change it and have a do-over. And before that, for the better part of my life, I was just natural. My natural go-to hairstyle was usually the puff, the Afro puff, where you pull your hair and have the little bun in the back. That was my hairstyle for most of the time. Sometimes I would have box braids or knotless braids. I wasn't big on doing protective hairstyles, but it worked for me and this is what I liked. So let's talk about my hair type. I've been told that I have a 4A or a 4B hair. I always thought I was a 4C. I will insert a photo of my natural hair before the locks so you get an idea. Let's do a hair length check. I've had this for 5 months. They did not grow much in 5 months. If anything, because I had to redo the locks, I did lose a lot of length. But this is how long it is. It's armpit level. A few of them here. But yeah, armpit level. It just shrinks back up. I can't wait until it actually drops. Okay, so why did I decide to get Microlocs? I think it started after I had my firstborn. I realized I was going to spend a lot more of my time, catering to that beautiful new child in my life and a lot less time catering to myself. So I felt like I needed a hairstyle that was less time consuming, a hairstyle that was low manipulation and low maintenance. Initially, I wanted to get sister locks, but I had to find a certified Loctician. Here in my part of Canada, it wasn't an option. I think I found one online, but she was so busy, she wasn't taking any new clients. I had to go with Microlocs. When looking for a Loctician, I went online, I Googled who are the Locticians in the city. I went on Instagram, and of course I went on YouTube. And I remember finding this lady that had a beautiful Instagram page, always posting new clients and their hairstyle, and she mostly focused on natural hairstyles. And one of the styles that she was good at doing were Microlocs. I remember going on her YouTube. She has over 100K subscribers. So I was like, okay, she must be good. So I contacted her and then she said, we'll need to do a consultation. The consultation cost me $30. Honestly, I did not really know if it was for me to ask questions or for her to inspect my hair. The only question I had was, how long will it take and how much will it cost me? And she answered those questions. She told me it'll probably be a whole day. You'll come in early in the morning and then we'll finish in the evening. She told me it would cost around 750 Canadian dollars. I was like, okay, cool. I remember asking her, how long will it take for my hair to fully lock? She said probably a year. After a year, I'll be fully locked. I'll be able to wash my hair every day, but initially I would need to not wash my hair for 4 weeks. This is the information she gave me. I did not think of asking more questions. I wasn't ready to book the appointment because I didn't have a full day available to myself. That was towards the tail end of my maternity leave, so I told her, let me get back to work. Give me a couple weeks, then I will book that appointment. I was also thinking, as soon as I get this appointment done, I need to keep up with the reties. It would be easier to keep up with multiple hair appointments if I have a steady income. I went home and contacted her again 6 weeks later to book my appointment. By the time I went, it had been maybe 2 months. So I went to the appointment, she did the locks, and let me tell you, it was beautiful. I will also try and see if I can insert a video of how it looked, but it was beautiful. I loved it. It was a good size. As she was doing the retie, we realized that a few of them had unraveled, and it was mostly on the perimeter, the back, and the front. She said it would be best to combine them. And so I had a few that were a little big, but whatever. Then I kept coming back, and over the months I realized that at every appointment she was combining locks. Every time that a lock was unraveling, she was combining them. And also, one thing I really didn't like is she didn't have the setup for hair treatments or washes. This was an inconvenience for me. Being a novice, I did not know how to properly wash my locks on my own. Fast forward a few months later, I realized that my hair was not really locking, but I was trusting the process. After a few months, I didn't like the way, your relationship with the person that does your hair has to be good. I didn't like the relationship that we had. I didn't really like the way she would speak to me when I would want to make an appointment. So I decided to look for another loctician. By the time I found another loctician, I was pregnant with my second child. So when I went to her, I remember messaging her before my first appointment and asking if it's possible to have some of the locks unraveled and then made into smaller locks, and if it's possible to kind of fix the parting so that the lines are neat, because I feel like I could not really see my scalp whenever I had a retie. And she said, come over, let's have a look at your hair and see what can be done. When I got there, she washed my hair, fixed the parting, fixed the sizing. I felt like a new person. When I came home that day, people were giving me compliments. They were like, wow, she did you good today. And I was like, it's not the same girl. This one knows what she's doing. I remember thinking, I wish I had met her sooner, or I had found her sooner. I don't know where she was when I was looking for her. But all of her clients, their hair were just beautiful. And so I felt like, oh my God, I wish I had that instead of what I have. And it's not that the locks that I had were not beautiful. It's just that it was easier for me to see myself with smaller Microlocs long term. What I had was nice and I could have kept it for a few years. But knowing myself after 2 years, I would have wanted something different. So after I gave birth to my second child, I asked the second loctician if she can please redo my installations. So I unraveled my locks on my own, which took me maybe 4 days. Between unraveling, I was also dealing with a newborn. I mostly worked at night and it wasn't easy. There was a lot of hair loss, a lot of damage, but I did the best that I could. I was in a hurry to get it done. So I unraveled my locks and did the installation for this hair. It took 2 days. I came early in the morning. I think it was like around 6 a.m. I left towards 8 p.m. and then it was about the same thing the next day, except that I think I did not leave at 8. The second day I probably left around 6 p.m. Now, first installation took a few hours. I was there from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. So it really wasn't a full day. The second installation took 2 days. And let me tell you, I've never looked back ever since. It's been almost 6 months. I keep going back to this loctician so she can do my reties. I will say, it's really important if you're thinking about getting Microlocs, or if you already have Microlocs and you're not really happy or fully satisfied with the way it looks, it's really important to find the right loctician for your hair type. And for me, what I realized is that the first loctician was a hairstylist that knows how to do locks. She's not an expert at maintaining Microlocs, and she is not an expert at Microlocs, period. The second loctician, however, all she does are Microlocs. And so she is an expert, and she set up proper expectations from the get-go. She told me with my hair type, I'm probably looking at 2 or 3 years for the hair to fully lock. And every advice that she's given about my hair so far have been true. They've been needed. I've dealt with hair loss as well right after I gave birth around the perimeter, and she's been working with me. If you have a loctician you're not happy with, or if you're looking for one, it's very important, and I can't stress this enough, it's extremely important that you find someone that has experience with your hair texture, and not only has experience with locks, but also has continued experience with locks. Not someone that has a Microloc client once every 3 months. You need someone that knows what they're doing and practices daily. I was happy to find her. And even just the consultation, there was a big difference between the first consultation and the second. At your consultation, you want to be sure to ask all the questions necessary. It's not enough to know how much it will cost and how long it will take. You want to know how often you have to wash your hair or come for a retie. What type of hair products would you be able to apply to your hair? You know, if you don't pay for the wash, how can you wash your hair at home? As for all the tips and tricks that you need, before actually deciding to go with any loctician. And I feel like a good loctician will have an answer for all of those. So my locks, I go for my reties every 7 weeks. I would say so far, I usually wash my hair on my own. I personally prefer when she washes the hair because she does it so much better than I do. And she does it in a way that prevents my hair from unraveling. So let's talk about misconception when it comes to having microlocs. Like I said, when I started my journey, the reason why I was looking for microlocs is because I was looking for hair that was low maintenance, less time consuming, and that required less manipulation. It's not less time consuming because when I go to my reties, it's about a 6-hour appointment. Last time actually it took 9 hours. It's a full day. It's not every weekend, but you need to carve out time just so you can get your retie done. The smaller the lock, the more time it'll take. The longer the lock, the more time it will take. What else? I will say also, yes, it's slow manipulation, but because you need to be patient with your hair when you start out. I've realized that a lot of people, when they get microlocs, they're in a hurry to have all those amazing hairstyles that you can do with your hair, but your hair needs to be left alone. Do not overly apply hair products. Do not overly manipulate or touch the hair. Be patient and let your hair flourish on its own. The biggest misconception with locks, it doesn't even matter whether it's microlocs or traditional locks. People think that when you have locks, you have dirty hair, and that is absolutely not true. Depending on the hair type that you have, the hair texture, you do not need to be washing your hair every day. Water is good for your hair. But when you start your microlocs, washing your hair every day will work against you and the whole process of the lock coming together. But it's a very temporary phase, and if you're black, you know that your hair doesn't need to be washed every day. After a while, you'll be able to wash your hair every day. So I personally cannot wait to that stage. I really love my hair. For me to even say that says a lot. I'm proud of my crown because I found a very good loctician. If you're one of those girls that can do it by yourself on your own, oh my God, you're so blessed. I know I can't. Finding a loctician was important for me. If you find someone you're not sure about, please keep looking and doing your research because you're only one loctician away from finding your perfect match for your hair. I will end the video here. If you like the video, hit the like button and leave a comment if you have any questions about my microlocs. I'll make sure to include my response in the next video. Consider subscribing to the channel. I hope I see you guys again. Bye.